Good morning. Hand today's going to be King Jack offsuit. We are under the gun in a 25 NL game. This could be an interesting hand, at least from some of the pre-flop action. So let's get to it. I am under the gun. King Jack off isn't shorter handed. We could play it, but we've got a deep stack right to our left. He's got position on us. It would be hard. I think this would be a difficult hand to play. So I just fold, button raises, and then we get a 3-bet by the small blind and a call by the big blind. So villain 6, 45-27, we actually did this guy's hand where a button limp first in, then he called in small blind with king 10 off. He was out of position, and then he check called, and this was the bet where the button was betting one big blind on the flop, one big blind on the turn, basically allowed king 10 to call. And we looked at GTO, or we looked at Equilab, and he was making the correct call if he assumed that the button was betting a wide range. So here he's playing 45-27 pre-flop raise. We don't have massive number of hands, but on the button, 1 out of 2. Attempt to steal is going to be 100%, so 1 out of 1. I think he's going to have a pretty wide range here. So I'm going with something like this. He's had Jack 3 that he called or raised first into 2 big blinds in the small blind. So Jack 3 suited. We did that hand, so I wanted to make sure I had that. So it's just, you can see it's big range. And then villain 7 raises to 5.4. Playing 23-14-6. We do have some notes on him. We've got a 3-bet range that says queens and kings 9 suited, but then you see a limped and re-raise with king 9 suited, so we know that that's not it. We also have a called 2-bet from the blinds range with queen, 10-7, ace 10. So I think sometimes he could raise with queen, sometimes he can't. But overall, I think, if he's going to limp re-raise, you've got a hand where if he's thinking this player is a steal, or is on the steal, then I think it's going to be a wider range like this, where we can include the king 9s now, probably jack 10 off, probably ace 9 off, ace 10 off. The aces hold a bit of power because if you have an ace, it's less likely your opponent has the ace. So I'm going to go with this range, and then we have got big blind. I guess we could scale some of this as well, but I think with two big blinds for the pre-flop raise, I think you're going to get 3-bet. So here you go, villain 8, 26-18. He limps first in under the gun and then calls a raise, an ISO raise with jack 10 diamonds. Called 3-bets in position, 7s called 3-bets out of position, 8-6. So I think I'm just going to try to make sure I include 8-6. And I think it's probably 7-5 and 6-5 too. We're going to have all of the pocket pairs, suited aces, and so forth. We do have to consider 3-bets. He does 3-bet about 14%. The only 3-bet range that I have there is kings. So I think this is, since we already have a 3-bet, we have a raise first in and then a 3-bet. I think we're gonna narrow his 4-betting range to kings and aces, and then sometimes with ace king. So I did 50% with ace king, suited and offsuit. Now I guess we could probably just say ace king offsuit might be 75%. So only 25%. 3-bet with ace king off. That might be a little bit better. All right, so then it gets around. Now we got a 4-bet, and we have both players call. So now at this point, I think this range is getting narrowed, getting cut down, and we do have a note that says jacks. 4-bet plus range is jacks, and we've got attempt to steal with jacks. So I'm guessing this is the hand with jacks. So we are just dropping this significantly now. So we know it's jacks plus. It could be 10s plus as well. Maybe even 9s plus. We can include it. I think 10s plus is probably pretty good. And then I would imagine if he's doing, you know, 10s plus or jacks plus, then he probably has the ace queen suited, ace king suited, ace king offsuit, maybe even ace jack suited, ace queen. Maybe like that. But actually, I think it's probably just going to keep it to the aces, pocket pair, and then your aces here. So we're going to keep that to the 4-bet range. So his range was drastically narrowed. And then we had a call here. And this is a 4-bet. And we don't have 4-bet stat here. So I think at this point, I'm going to eliminate aces here. Because I think aces would probably 4-bet in this spot, or 5-bet in this spot. I think kings maybe have a 25% chance. I think once you get the 4-bet kings, some people will just go ahead and use aces and kings as their 4-bet all the time. Others will just say they'll freeze up with kings. So I think we're going to do that, and then I think, whoops, let's get this out of here. I think we're probably going to just, I'm not sure if we should leave everything here. I think we're going to leave the pocket pair for sure. I think we're going to call pocket pair for sure. Suited aces, I think for sure. Probably the suited broadways. So I think we're going to narrow his range to something like that. And then this other guy, I think if he called it, he's going to close the action. He's probably just going to call with the same range. I think that's what we'll do. So the flop comes down 10-8-5 with 2 spades. All right. So both of these, this guy raised it pre-flop, so he did have initiative. Pot's 32.4. He's got 29.4. I think his play, if he's going to play this, he just needs to be all in. That needs to be the play. If he's not going to play it, I think it should be a check. I don't think you want to mess around with like a half pot bet or bet small. Just, you know, you want to maximize fold equity. You can do that by shoving all in. Straight draws are going to call. Flush draws are going to call. Probably ace x is going to, or 10x is going to call. Pocket pairs, jacks, queens, kings, aces are all going to call. I think even if he has a spade draw or like a gut shot, I think he bets, because if a spade comes, it's going to freeze the action. It's going to be hard for him to get paid off. So he bets half pot. I don't like that half pot bet. As I just said, I think he should be shoving it here. That kind of looks like it is a trying to get called. So probably not a flush draw. I could be wrong. I mean, we do kind of already have it, but we have raise first in, out of position, check called, bet, and then checked. So he bet less than 50%. Basically, half his stack is what he bet. I just think that it's a better play just to shove. I think that is the play. So we'll do over pair sets, and I guess we're gonna do flush draw too. I mean, what else? What else are we looking at? Well, yeah, ace king off. You've got all the non-flush draws. The over cards. Would he do that with all of them? I guess the flush draw would bet half. Try to risk less to win the pot on a semi bluff. I guess that could work. We'll do that. All right, so he made the raise, which needed to be done, and then he calls. So we're gonna stick with him. He's gonna call with those same hands. This player folds. I'm guessing it's unpaired hand, or maybe 7s or 9s, if our range is correct. And then he comes over the top here. So at this point, I don't think it's top pair necessarily. I think top pair is going to be cautious. So we're going to do overpair plus. We're going to do flush draw, open ender. Go with that. I don't think, and we could debate whether or not he should be doing that with his draws or not, but I think overall, yeah, I think overall he's going to be more likely to have the overpairs. I think flush draw, straight draws, probably just going to check call, hope to hit on the turn, and probably get it in. Probably get it in on the turn too. So we get all in. Comes down king, ace, king of hearts, ace of spades. So the flush gets there. We got jacks versus 8-6. So he did have that ace 8-6 here. You're gonna take this out. So he called with middle pair. And I bet he would have called with pocket pair below second card. Probably would have called with any pair. Just kind of put him on like ace king, ace queen. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that. But it is what it is. So we got the king and the ace, and this guy wins with jacks. So comments on the hand. I told you c-betting. He should have just shoved. His stack isn't very deep. He had less than a pot size bet. He either checks now and bets on the turn, or he just gets it in on the flop. And I think it's better to get it in on the flop, because if a spade comes, if this came the ace of spades here, this guy's not going to call. This guy's not going to call. But he could. I mean, if he called now or shoved now, he's definitely going to call. So those are the hands that you're going for. It's the hands like, calling for one pair. I don't know why he called. This was a raise, 3-bet, 4-bet pot. I think that tends to argue or suggest big hands. Even this guy, we had the suited broadways in his range. Big cards. So if a suited Broadway comes, this guy can't really hope that an 8 or a 6, if he pairs the 8 or the 6, that's going to win the hand for him. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense why he would do that. So let's go back to here, and let's get our notes. This is pretty complicated notes here. So I guess a small blind. Let's get us up here. So RFI 2 big blinds, button. Face 5.44 big blind 3-bet by small blind, and 4-bet to 10.8 big blinds. And B would call with so he had jacks. We'll do that, and we don't know what that guy had. Jack spade, jacks, diamonds. He is in position. He bet 50% and call. Bet 50% stack, less than 50% pot, and call all in. All right. So then we've got this 10 of spades, 8 of spades, 5 of clubs, king of hearts, ace of spades. All right, so we've got that. I'm going to copy that, and then we're going to go to this guy. So he had 8, 6 of hearts. All right, so he Um, 10.8. Okay, so he saw um, button raised. Okay. Cold call. I think that's what. Cold call. Cold call. 5.4 big blind 3-bet. By small blind. And overcall. Yeah. 10.8 big blinds 4-bet by button in big blind with 8-6 hearts. All right. Now he is out of position. So he called. So check, raised, all in for let's see here. We'll say 90%. 90% pot. Well, that's not technically. Check raise, all in. Verse about 50% c-bet. Check raised. Check raised, min raised, all in. Check raised, min raised, all in versus about. Okay, I think that gets it across. Tough. That'll be tricky. All right, so we took our notes. It's tough to take the notes on hands like these. Again, I think the c-bet was off. Not sure what this guy was doing. I think he should have just folded his 3-bet. I understand if you think this is a steal and he's re-stealing here, then I think 8-6 could be a pretty good re-steal. You know, he could have been the one that raised it up. I don't think I would have raised it up to 10. So, you know, go back to pre-flop play. He gets to here. I think this would, if he's going to re-steal, he needs to raise it up to like 15 or 16. Big blind really put the pressure on him because he's going to look at it and say, oh crap, if I call, then this guy's probably going to call too. So he could re-raise it to 15. If he comes over the top again, 8-6 just folds. I kind of understand this situation where he faced a 4-bet and you have a call because he only needs 17% equity. And I bet if we ran some numbers, he's not going to be far off from about 15% to 20%. Based on what he gives the ranges. He could actually be, no, he's probably close to 15% or less, maybe even 10%, 13%, 12%. I think he'll be low just because we're assigning this villain, you know, pocket pairs, big pocket pairs, 10s plus, and then like ace king, ace queen, ace jack, king queen, ace king off, you know, hands like those. I think by and large, even if he catches a pair of 8s or 6s, if there's a Broadway card on the board, he's probably beat. So I understand his call. I'm not sure. It's probably just like real close to 0 EV. Or his equity, yeah, probably real close to 0 EV. So calling or folding, I think I probably would have folded this because I'm putting on big cards, Broadway cards. And then seeing this board, you saw half pot bet. I'd be wondering why isn't he just shoving at that point? That almost looks like he's trying to seem weaker. I mean, he has jacks. He might be afraid of queens. But still, I think this bet just seems screams like a weaker type of bet, and with his small stack, it's that's alarm bells for me. So, not. I mean, I'd play it differently, but I think I understand why he made the call when he did. I think that first call pre-flop was problematic. I think the first call pre-flop was problematic. Calling the 4-bet, I think you're probably close, either calling or folding. All right, I think we're going to end here. Hopefully you enjoy this. Look tomorrow. Plan to do another hand and get it posted.